I managed to speak to my dad at hospital on the 7th day of his incarceration there. He's able to talk quite clearly. He's okay there. He says he's been able to breathe. He says at the start when he entered, he could breathe, but it was just painful. He slipped with slippery slippers getting into the kitchen. I don't think his slippers have enough grip on the bottom of them, and they're not meant to be called slippers, so you slip up when you enter the room. He's done that route 1,000 times, so it should be easy for him to navigate into the kitchen from his room. It's not a long walk or anything, and he wasn't careful enough walking. Anyway, cracked a couple of his ribs, and they splintered off, and the splinters from his broken ribs pierced the bag of his lung. And apparently there's a tiny hole, so he's still able to breathe. Apparently it's still able to breathe through your lung with this tiny hole there. It's not like all the air's escaping. It's pretty weird though. It's a partially collapsed lung, so it collapsed, but like bits of bone from your ribs making a hole in your lung, and then what other detritus and junk and infection-y stuff and liquids are getting like sucked into your lung with each breath from the cavity around it and all that. It's like, oh my god, like liquid in the lung. He's able to talk clearly though. He says he's able to breathe fine. He says he hasn't been sleeping much because he's on tons of pills and injections and stuff, and they interrupt his night to give him pills and injections and everything. And there's a tyrant nurse there. One of the nurses is an absolute tyrant, and every time one of the people in the ward, because he's in with a bunch of other men there, every time one of them wants to go to the toilet to have a poop or a pee, they're not allowed to just walk to the toilet and do it. They have to ring a bell, wait for some slow ass nurse to walk up and find them, get out of bed with them and have them like accompany them, like hold their hand to go 10 steps to the toilet, and then they're allowed to go for their poop or pee or whatever. And one guy who had diarrhea or something, this tyrant nurse came out there. He wanted to go to the toilet. He knew he needed to go to the toilet to poop. He started going to the toilet and walking himself there. The nurse came into the ward, shouted at him to tell him off and tell him to get back to bed unless he goes to the toilet with her supervision. And he pooped himself right there and then in the ward thing. So this is some evil power mad trainee nurse that is on the ward, one of the nurses, and yeah, she's terrible. So that sounds like one bad thing that's going on. I was gonna go and see him tomorrow. He says don't bother, come and see me, like, because I might be someone else. They might have led me to a different room or something. He said something about there's exercise machines. I guess they got like jogging machines or something that you got to go on, or maybe it's a exercise bicycle, I don't know. Try and do exercise on those. But yes, 7 days is a long time. It's a bit like a prison. Apparently he is eating food, so my mum was saying he wasn't eating food, but he is. My mum's still gaslighting him, calling him delusional. Such an asshole. So yeah, he is eating food. Apparently the food they get is like cheese sandwich and like leek and potato soup type thing. So like not amazing, but he's fine with it. Yeah, it's nice to talk to him. Like, he'd be over there. Imagine, I was thinking about this. So Dad would be over there. Imagine if you had this. I'm not into dumb technology phone apps as a rule, but imagine if you had like augmented reality phone app, or like the glass, you know, they were pushing Google Glass a while back where you have a computer screen in your glasses. Imagine if you had the computer screen in your glasses and you made a phone call to someone and immediately like a red dot would appear, or like a HUD icon would appear, a glowing dot showing where geographically, not geographically, well kind of geographically, where the person is. So you look around, you're making the phone call, and then suddenly you see a dot on the horizon, and that's them, the person you're calling. But then you get into the situation where if you want to do a long distance call, you have a friend in the Philippines or something, you're like, hello, I phone up Philippines, have your glasses, the HUD comes up, where's the dot, where's the dot? Oh, it's under you, look down, it's under your feet somewhere. You're talking to someone under your feet through the earth. That'd be kind of... I think it would actually widen people's minds about geography and where things are on the planet. Because some people might make a call to someone not on the other side of the earth, but like one country away, or maybe the same country like Scotland, and you'd expect like the dot to be like it was Scotland. Scotland's north. You'd look at the horizon and you go, oh, they'd be on the horizon, like really far that way, wouldn't they? This person in Scotland I'm calling. But the dot would actually be down. It would look like it's underground. It'd be down there somewhere. And that's because you got this big curve up here of the earth before you even reach Scotland. There's just enough curve that, you know, you look up towards where you think Scotland is, and they're underground. That's where the little HUD light indicator of who your phone call goes to would be coming from. Yeah. Catch you later.